Following court today's Chumash with Rashi for the fifth portion of Lech Lecha, chapter 14, verse 21, Perek Yudaled Pasuk Chaf Aleph. There was the big world war yesterday, and we're continuing from there. Chaf Aleph. V'yomer Melech Sdom, the king of Sdom, said El Avram to Avram, Ten li nefesh v'chul chachlach. Just give me back the people, and you keep all the money. You know, he felt saved. You know, he was under great duress from these four superpowers, and Avram killed them all, and he's just happy to be alive. And he says, please just give me the people back. Keep all the wealth. Rashi, ten li nefesh min hashvi shalish atzalta, just from the captives that you saved. Actually, a goofy in the bottom. He's just asking for the bodies back, trying to make a good deal. Chaf Beis v'yomer Avram Melech Sodom. Avram says back, Harimosi Yadi, I lift my hand, El Hashem to Hashem, Ke'el Elyon, the supernal God, Konei Shemayim Haaretz, the acquirer of heaven and earth. Rashi, or we learned yesterday, as in creator of heaven and earth. Chaf Beis, Rashi, Harimosi Yadi, what's this lifting of the hand business? Loshin Shavu, it's the language of an oath. Avram's taking an oath. Marimani Es Yadi, Lekel Elyon, I'm raising my hand up to God. And similarly, Nishba'ani, V'kain Nasati Kesef, Asada Kach Mimeni, in other cases, no Samani Taka Kesef, Asada Kach Mimeni. Other cases were very similar. This is the language of an oath. Hav Gimel, Imachut, if even a thread, Ad Sarach Hanal, or a shoelace, Im Echach Mikol Asher Lach, if I would take anything from you, Lo Samatani, Asharti Es Avram. Avram says, I ain't taking nothing. I don't want you to say I've made Avram rich. Rashi, Imachut Ad Saruch Now, I'm not taking nothing. He says, not only am I taking any from the spoils, I'm taking anything of yours. Even if you want to give me a big reward, I'm not taking it, he says. He says, God already promised me I'd be rich. I don't need your money. As we learned earlier when it says, I will bless you. And Rashi explained that meant wealth. Some interesting things to say here, but Avram was not interested in getting the dirty money from this king, and it's interesting. How do we? It's a famous joke, you know, about a guy. Anyway, straight to the story. How do we know this wasn't God's plan to get him wealthy? How do we know this wasn't what God had in mind? This is how he was supposed to receive the wealth. So the Mizrahi answers that the word ani, which is apparently repetitive, since there's no need for a pronoun at that place, comes to show that Avram was concerned the king of Sodom would subsequently claim that he and not God was the one who made Avram rich, and thus contradict the promise. That even if he did make him rich and it did come from God, this guy's speaking out saying he made him rich, and the promise might not be so publicized. It might come out right in the people's eyes. Avram wants it's all about getting the people to call out in God's name. Al Tikra v'yikra v'yakri, I think. I hope I said it right. Get others to call out in God's name. So even if he were to be made rich, but it didn't lead to the glorification of God's name, Avram's not about that. He wants what he wants is people to realize that God's running the world and He's all that exists. Yeah, it's nice to get the geld too, but at what expense? So there's an extra ani in this verse, and he learns from there. I was going to tell a joke, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, there's a famous joke about the guy. There's a flood in a town, and he climbs up on his. At first, everything's all right. A car comes by and says he'll help him out of town. He says, don't worry, God's going to save me. Then the flood gets a little higher and a boat comes by. He says, oh, don't worry, God's going to save me. Then he's all the way on his roof, and a helicopter comes by and he says, God's going to save me. Then Nebuch, he died. And the Rebbe Melech Moshiach says many times we could have eternal life in these bodies. We just have to see the face of Mashiach, learning Gani Mashiach, Mer Shnai, and say it in the streets, and Mishnah's Los Neshama. Probably other things too, but these are the only two exact quotes I can find. So far. Anyway, and he's upstairs in front of the heavenly courts, and they say to him, he says, to God, I thought you were going to save me. God says, I sent you a boat, a helicopter, and a car. What more do you want? It's along those lines, but this story wasn't going to necessarily play out well. He was worried the king of Sodom would take credit and the world wouldn't realize it was God's blessing. Chav Daled, Bliadi Rak Asher Achal Anarim. He says, that's not counting what the people ate, meaning his servants. V'chelek hanashim asher halchu iti, and the portion of the people who rolled with me, Einar Eshkol Mamre, who are Einar Eshkol Mamre, who guarded the camp, although they didn't take part in the war, Haim v'yichu helkam. Avram can be righteous on his own account and not take, but it doesn't mean the people who are with him don't get to take. He says they can all make their own decision. And we also learned that people who guard the camp get an equal share. I don't know if it's exactly equal, but I think they get a pretty reasonable share. It might even be 50-50. And borrowing a little from Rabbi Gordon, the blessed membership of Echlis and Guf Gashmi, and the Gulish Lamamita. Tremendous chassid. So Rashi says, Hanarim, who are those? The Avdei, these are his servants. Avadai, Shahachuliti, Va'od, and Eshko Mamri, and also his three buddies. V'goy v'apol pish Avdi, Niknasu the Macham, even though his servants are part of the war. Shenemar hu v'avrav Yakim, like it says in the verse. And his buddies just watched the vessels, kept the supply chain going, as Rabbi Gordon, blessed memory, said, back from Guf Gashmi. They still get their part. David learned from them. David learned from Abraham, did the same. Forever and ever. Not in the future, because it was already exists in the days of Abraham, as it was previously. Alright, because it was already established in his time. Alright, just making sure. So, Hanarim. Alright, the Narim are the servants. And the Nashim. The Nashim are separate. Okay, there is another class here. Rashi wants to make clear the servants didn't get anything anyway, because anything they owned would have belonged to Abraham. And anybody who actively accompanied Abraham and fought in the war or took some part, or anyone who actively accompanied Abraham, whether or not they took part, still got a share. So there's the servants, there's Einar, Eshkol, and Mamre, and then there's also potentially other people who joined in. The servants aren't getting anything because anything they take is Avram, so just their food they got. That's all to talk about. But the other people, they get to choose whether or not they're going to take their share. Chapter 15, verse 1. Achar dvarim eila, after all these things, Hayed davar Hashem al Avram. Hashem spoke to Avram, b'machaza, in a vision, Lamor, saying, Al tira Avram, don't be afraid. Anochi magin lach, I'm going to protect you. Schar chachar b'miod, you have tremendous reward. Rashi, if there is any Rashi, let's see. Rashi, achar dvarim eila, kol makom shenamar achar, this word achar, samoch, means nearby, it happened recently after. Achrei muflag, but it says achrei, it's a more distant time. Achar is close in time, achrei is distant in time. It's important to remember. Nice little that means right after Shem did the miracle for him, that Avram and his little mini crew defeated the four superpowers. Avram was a little worried. He said maybe he received his reward. There's a model that when a Jew does good things, he, so to speak, builds up a bank account. And when he has abundant blessing for all of them, it's like he makes withdrawal. Although Hashem has more than enough to give. He can give abundant infinite to everybody. Nothing to talk about there. But Avram was somehow worried he'd used up all his righteousness, all his reward. So Hashem says back to him, he says, don't worry, I'm going to protect you from any punishment. Avram was also a little worried over all the people he killed. It's a righteous man to kill a lot of people. Granted, he killed them in the name of righteousness himself to save his nephew, but war is just not a pleasant thing. So he was worried, and Hashem says not to worry. It's not going to be punished. And this idea that you think you got paid up already, you have tremendous reward. He was a little worried about killing all the people, and he was a little bit worried about using up his reward. Hashem says don't worry about it either. Oh, alright. So there's an interesting note here. It's very long. Let's read this note. I think it's important. So if Avram was afraid of punishment, as Rashi explained, why did Rashi omit mentioning it in the question? Gorari answers that he certainly was not concerned about punishment, for otherwise he would not have entered the battle. That's not necessarily true, at least in my opinion. A person could go into battle because he has to, but he'd still be worried about the effect after. Not to argue on the Gorari, though, tremendous tzaddik, tremendous sage. But it would not have entered the battle. That was likely to cause bloodshed. Rashi says in another place, But why then did God have to reassure him here? I will act as protection for you. To this, Gorer answers that Avram thought the 4 kings must have been completely wicked, for otherwise how could they have been destroyed through a miracle? Thus he had no reason to be worried about being punished, nor from retaliation from other nations. When God reassured him, Avram, don't be afraid, he may have understood the reason this was not considered a reward was because, in fact, it had not been a miracle, but merely by chance that he was able to kill the 4 kings. Contrary to what he originally thought, maybe they were really good people, were still able to bear worthy offspring, and thus he would actually be punished for his victory. God said, I was actually protection for you from punishment. True, with those whom he killed were truly wicked and deserving of death. It's circular. It's very interesting. All right. Anyway, God tells Avram it's going to be good, not to worry. Base v'yomer Avram, and Avram says, Ado Shem Elokim, God, my eternal God, Matitinli, what can you really give me? Anochi Holy Ari, he said he was going childless with Ben Meshach Basi, who Demeshach Eliezer, and the head of his household was Eliezer from Damascus. Rashi, I don't want to read the next verse in conjunction. In Gimel, v'yomer Avram Hein Lilo, Zati Zera, he says, Avram said he didn't have any kids yet, but he Ben Basi, Yorshosi. He says anything he has is going to go to Eliezer. So let's learn the Rashi. It's a little bit long Rashi's here. Holech, Avram said he was going childless. Anagim Surah Parsha Loshin Yoirish with an heir, V'charvalo, heir of Oina. He looks in another place, Arir, below Yoirish. Kasher to Omer, V'chol to Wasi, to Sharish, that I got uprooted. To Aker, Shershecha, Kachloshin Arir, meaning uprooted, Chaser Banim, Blaz, the Chanfantaz in France. Velinir, Erev Onem, Exeris, Velibe Er, his heart is awake. Arir, Reloshin Churban, Rashi says it means destruction. Kain Aro Aro, like in Tillim, Kain Aros Yasoid, Arar to Arar, K Arza Erer. So Rashi seems to think it means destruction, and Menachem and Stork seems to say it means childless or uprooted. Either way, the idea is kind of the same. Then Meshach Basi, Getamok Shekol Basi, Nuzun Al Piv. Eliezer, make sure everyone got fed right, he ran the whole house. Mo Al Picha Yishak, like it says. Abitropashali, he was the guardian, Be'elohai Ben, Ben Munal Shli, but Avram said if he had a kid, he would have made him the administrator. Meshach, Lefi Targum, Meshach Chaim, he was from Damascus. Lefi Medrash Agada, that's the simple meaning. The Medrash says, Shara from Lachan al Damascus, he chased those kings down to Damascus. We learned yesterday that Eliezer was like some super Lahavdil warrior guy, Rambo guy that just killed everybody. It was unbelievable. But Talmud, and Talmud says, Darshu Nochikon, they make it up, Dola and Mashkim and Torah Rabbi Lacherim. They make Roshi Tevis out of it, that he gave the water, he was a distributor of water, means he distributed the Torah teachings of his Rebbe, Abraham, to others. He made sure that the Torah, he made sure Avram's Torah spread through the world. Just want to see one thing. Oh yeah, we also said yesterday that possibly it's an idea that if a person, there's some people that get to leave the battlefront if it's an optional war, and possibly I guess this is an optional war. I guess Avram was not commanded to go to war, and if he just got married, or I have to be careful I say it. Some people, there's different exemptions, but if he was engaged but not married, if he planted a vineyard but hadn't redeemed it and built a house but hadn't inaugurated it, he could go home. And also if he got married and built a house and redeemed a vineyard, but he didn't. I think if he didn't get the full year, he also gets to go home. Ooh, me. And the commentaries bring over there that these could be a cover for people who had sins. God forbid that this would be an excuse for them to go home because they were really worried about battle because they didn't feel protected because of their sins. They knew Hashem was the ultimate power, but they didn't feel they were in the fold because they had sins. So possibly everyone else in the whole battlefield had to run back because they had sins, except for Eliezer, and and he was a super Rambo, and possibly that's why he was a super Rambo, because he didn't have any sins. All right, very nice. Pasuk Gimel, Hanley Sati Zer, Umanteles Bechol Asher Titanli. Avram says, well, good is it all the stuff he gives to him? I mean, what's going to be? Pasuk Dal, Vihini Davar Hashem Alav, Hashem spoke back to him. Literally, the word of Hashem was upon him. Lamor saying, don't worry, it's not going down like that. It's going to be a child from your innards that will, he says not to worry, it'll be a child from your innards that's going to, that will inherit you. No Rashi, hey, V'yotze also chachutza, God took Avram outside, V'yomer habetna, he said, give a look, Hashemayim at the heavens, Spor kahavim, in the count of the stars, Yimtugali spor osam yomer loko yezerecha, he says, you're going to have as many kids as the stars. Rashi, V'yotze also chutz, he took him outside, what does that mean? The future hotze b'ala l'chutz, he took him from a tent outside. Also kahavim, take a look at the stars, what's the Medrash say? Amar let's say, eats Tagninu Shalcha, because Avram was a great astrologer. He says, leave that aside. Ben. Avram saw he wasn't going to have a kid. Avram ain't lo ben. God tells him Avram might not have kids. Avraham yesh lo ben. Once the names change, no problem. Sarai lo telet. Sarai is not going to give birth. Sarah telet, but Sarah will. Ani kor lechem shem acher. He says, I'm going to change up your names. V'yishtana hamazel, which changes up the mazel. Dav acher hotze. Halo Shalom, he took him out of the cavity of the world, so to speak. V'igbiu, Amaylam and Agobi, and lifted him above the stars. Veloshin Habata means give a look. Malamaylam Mata, from above downwards. So a few different ways of looking. Alright, Pasuk Vav, closing Pasuk. V'min b'Hashem, he believed in Hashem, v'shivat lo tzedakah, and it was considered for him as righteousness. What does it mean, v'min b'Hashem? Rashi says, he didn't ask for any signs or wonders. All those, Aval Yerushas when came to inheriting the land, Shalos, he did ask. He says, how will I know? So that's very good. Made the covenant, split them down the middle. Taking a quick peek at tomorrow's portion, please. Famous covenant of the parts, it looks like it's coming up. Darkness. I'm not sure how we see this. Okay, wasn't clear to me. I guess the vision he saw when the deep sleep come over him. But hopefully that'll be clear tomorrow when we do it more in depth. God willing, we will see. The Rashi continues. Yak Shveha lo tzedakah was considered for him as righteousness. The Kadosh Baruch Hu Hashvala Avram l'zchus tzedakah. Hashem thought this was good stuff. Alamuna sheminu bo that Avram believed him. That Achar b'ma'ed, he says, what will I know? Oshalos, he wasn't asking for a sign. Al-Am al-Afanav was said before him, but any bad zechus yiskaimu ba. He says, what's the merit that's going to make it go? Amal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, sus chakarbonis, he says, in the merit of the sacrifices. Possibly even tomorrow he didn't ask for a sign. He says, well, what merit can the descendants remain in the land? They get to stay in the land. See some of the notes here. Rashi explained that Avram's belief in God's prophecy is not the subject of this verse. For if Avram believed in God's prophecy, that he should, by the Akedah, he certainly believed in God's good tidings. However, in contrast to the promise about inheriting the land, which is given in the following verse in general terms, and where did it possibly ask for a sign, depending on how you learn Rashi, to reassure him that the many miracles that God had done for him had not used up his merits? Here he didn't ask for any reassurance. Maybe it affected other people, maybe there's more involved, how his descendants, with just him and God, that's one thing, but a whole nation of people that are going to come out of him and what's going to be in the future, that's another thing. This phrase could also grammatically be understood with Avram as the subject and God as the object. Avram considered what God had promised as an act of charity, and other commentators do explain that, where Rashi explains the continuation of the previous words. Yarish not only means to inherit or to take possession, it can also mean remain in possession, to inherit the land forever. Second explanation, Rashi understands the word shen in the sense. Okay, very nice. It was excellent learning today. Let's see what we have in total. He didn't want none of those guys' stuff, none of it at all. It was nice that they only asked for the people back, but I guess they were in a pretty tough negotiating position that they were about to get slaughtered and Avram saved them. Avram didn't want it to come out wrong where he's saying he made them wealthy. And his servants only got their food. He's not taking their food from them. He's not taking nothing, but all the other people could take what they wanted. This was a known thing, and David followed suit. Achar means soon after. Acharei is a while after. There's a debate whether ariri means uprooted or childless, or whether it means destroyed. Whether it means destroyed, God forbid. He ran the house. He was the administrator. Either Eliezer was from Damascus, or he chased the kings that far, or he drew water in Mashka. He drew out water and gave others to drink. He made sure the Torah that his Rabbi Avram taught him spread. And Hashem either said, forget the astrology, the name change is going to hook him up, or lifted him up over the atmosphere. And Avram believed him. And Hashem thought that was great. He didn't ask him for any signs. Maybe even then he didn't. He just wanted to know how they would stay in the land through the sacrifices. All right, check.